Hello and welcome to the 50-cent tour of Wednesday, August 7th, 2013. Please find a seat on the Liberty bus and we will begin our tour of the day. For our first stop, Impeach Obama Overpass protests organized nationwide. And this was reported by the IntelliHub, but you'll find this information all over the Liberty News this morning. These protests have become pretty extensive, and we had heard about them from some friends in California, and there are a lot of Facebook pages, a lot of local groups getting involved, and this is the official website, Impeach Obama, Overpasses for Obama's Impeachment. If you have some time on your hands and you want to become involved, and I'm not really advocating getting out for huge protests, but it did really strike me that when Egypt got rid of the government that was installed by the U.S. government, it kind of began with millions of people being out on the streets. I think there were 13 million or 33 million, something like that. Everybody was out protesting, and this, something like this could really catch on and really help to implement change in our country. If we all sit around watching TV acting like we don't care, then they'll do whatever they want to us. But if we start objecting, making some noise, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And if this organization and these protests gain enough momentum, there's potential for real impact on what's happening in our country. And this is not good news. First case of H7N9 human-to-human transmission reported. Scientists warn of pandemic potential. The British Medical Journal reported that a 32-year-old woman became infected with bird flu while caring for her father. Both have since died. This is the first confirmed case of human-to-human transmission of the disease. I guess the guys in the laboratories finally figured it out. They finally combined some things that caused this virus to be human-to-human transmission. So if you are concerned, there are definitely a lot of places where you can find information on protecting yourself against viral infections, and there are substances such as allicin from garlic, colloidal silver, grapefruit seed extract, and other things too that can help. So if you're curious about that, if you're concerned, you can visit dru.info, and I'll have the link in the notes and in the details on YouTube, and you can check some of those out. But there's just so much being thrown at us right now that's meant to inspire fear. So I think we can kind of weed some of these things out as maybe not being all that significant. Our protests must be having some impact, because CBC News host Insinuates 14-year-old girl is a shill for campaigning against GMOs. This young lady spoke at some of the GMO anti-Monsanto protests, and she's very well spoken, very articulate, and a great spokesperson. So of course they would go after her, right? And I didn't listen to this entire 13 minutes. I just got as far as the host, in a very insinuating way, asking her if she thinks of herself as a lobbyist, as if that's something bad. Well, of course, we don't like lobbyists, but because we know that they're guns for hire, but it's not wrong to be a spokesperson, and certainly she's a spokesperson. And if you consider that a lobbyist, then she's a lobbyist, and I don't see a problem. But they are, as I said, our efforts must be successful to some extent, because they're going after people like this 14-year-old. And also, this film, Anti-GMO Santo movie, appears to have been the victim of an elaborate disinfo campaign involving social media operatives. You know, in the Christian church, I'm really not very involved these days, but I used to be. And some people had a saying that Christians shoot their own wounded. Well, here are all, liberty people going after other liberty people, and shills and trolls can target these things, and we really need to be aware of that and be careful about what we believe about people. And Mike Adams states here that he even jumped on this bandwagon criticizing this film. And in his article, well, perhaps he didn't write it. He wrote here, even here at Natural News, we inadvertently contributed to the suspicion with a couple of paragraphs I wrote in a story about false gurus. So, and he now regrets it because he was misled. And, emphasis being on the word led. If we're allowing ourselves to be led, then we are in danger of being on the wrong side of opinion. We need to think for ourselves, weigh the evidence, and craft our own opinion based on the evidence, not based on, what somebody on Facebook who's, we think of as a good liberty person writes. Some of these people, and people have accused Alex Jones of this, which I don't happen to believe, but some of the people, the spokespeople for the Liberty and Truth movement, could have easily been placed in positions 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and they could be sleepers that get all of us to trust them, and suddenly they hold some opinion that benefits the cabal, the powers that be, and we all embrace that opinion because this person who we've come to trust is the one who communicated it to us. And, I've mentioned before, I no longer trust removing the shackles. I just don't. It doesn't, what she has done doesn't seem consistent to me with what she a while ago stated she wanted to do. But, even at that, please don't take my word for my evaluation of removing the shackles. Evaluate for yourself. Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody on YouTube or anybody on the radio to the degree that you don't do your own research. It's crucial that we all do our own research. Government officials hoping terror threat diverts attention from NSA spying scandal. These people are desperate. They're clinging desperately to their hold over us, and they have resources. So they are doing and will continue to do, possibly into the foreseeable future, everything they can to cause us to focus on the issues, the ideas that from which they will benefit. And, diverting attention. They don't want people to think about Benghazi. They don't want people to think about the NSA. They know that people have a limited ability to retain things in their minds and continue to think about them. So they want to put something else in that knocks the significant thing out. This terror threat. They say there's a terror threat. So what is that? It really makes very little sense. And I do have a couple of good news items today. One is pirates form church to battle copyright law that insults their beliefs. I just think this is awesome. With Russia's new anti-piracy law just a few days old, further opposition will be voiced today in a particularly unconventional manner. And pirates in several areas of the country will today apply to form their own church. Official complaints will then be filed against the new law on the basis that it insults the belief, let's scroll here, the beliefs that underpin the Copimist religion. So people want to be able to share information. They say that's part of their religious beliefs. We'll see if that holds up. And another bit of good news: stem cell scientists grow human teeth from urine. Could you imagine going to the dentist's office and handing them a urine sample so they could grow you a new tooth? Within weeks, stem cells from your urine could be birthing a tooth right in your own mouth. So this is great. This is, we sometimes we might hear the phrase stem cell and become all defensive because, as conservatives, we're against stem cell research, right? Well, no, because this isn't taken from an aborted baby. This is stem cells from your own system, and there's potential to grow new teeth, which for some of us who are aging is very, very, very good news. The Daily Tour is a presentation of She Who Will Walk in the Dark Productions, and we thank you for being with us for today's tour. The dawn is coming. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.